I would like to warmly thank the organizers for giving me this extraordinary opportunity to address this audience about a highly timely issue affecting the entire globe. The agri-food sector is inextricably linked to the Greek economy, Greek rural areas, and I would like to mention that I find myself here today in another capacity because I am also a producer of wine from Kefalonia Island, so I'm here wearing both hats. I would like to share the fact that I'm a producer myself because this means that I have first-hand knowledge of all the problems faced by either small or medium-sized production units in the agri-food sector. I'm very much aware of what happens in terms of the energy costs and the financing problems. So, let me elaborate on the first aspect for a few minutes, then I'm going to also talk about the second point for a couple minutes more, and I would like to share my conclusions and experiences. We know that the energy cost is something that affects the entire supply chain. This is a major point of concern that we need to capitalize on in order to become wiser about the role that the state should undertake in order to tackle the energy inflation. Because we know that if the energy cost is indeed has rather been too much to take for households, you can imagine its repercussions in the agri-food sector. I'm afraid that if the right interventions don't take place, we will see hundreds of businesses going bankrupt and closing down in the agri-food sector. Now, energy costs. My proposal is to adopt smart regulatory, auditing and supervisory measures. We cannot stand living on allowances in this country. Resources are limited, and we should opt for far-sighted policies rather than short-sighted ones. Our goal here is not to boost just the small manufacturing units, etc. We also need to support the households, because if we're not able to tame the high costs, the high prices, I'm afraid that this is a problem that will keep going on for many, many years. So those are the types of measures that should be adopted. When I talk about smart regulatory measures, I'm talking about targeted tax reductions. 10 days ago, the IMF published a table showing that all countries around the world, both in the developed and the developing world, all of them, with no exceptions, when faced with escalation of energy prices, opted for one thing: they reduced indirect taxes. I believe that this is something that should be considered by the government. We need to focus on the energy cost rather than on the energy sufficiency. For the time being, we are not being faced with this problem. And I believe that we tend to consume ourselves so much in terms of energy sufficiency, whether we'll have natural gas access, etc., whether we will have to dim the lights or close the lights entirely. Anyway, okay, all those things are for the best, of course, but special emphasis in terms of public dialogue should be laid not on the fact of whether we need to establish a committee in order to close down or dim the lights at schools, but in order to adopt other measures that will be able to deliver results in the long and short term. So, those fiscal interventions in combination with smart regulatory measures are the way to go. And we believe that the state should try to tackle the source of the problem, the wholesale price of energy, because this is where companies try to maximize their profit margins. And let's face it, some of the market players enjoy and yield skyrocketing profit. Okay, I'm not here to judge why they have this profit, but they do have this profit, they do yield this profit that is incompatible with the strenuous position of the agri-food sector today. direct intervention is required, reallocation of resources is required. And in order to talk about the third aspect of the measures I talked about, has to do with control and audit big farms. Okay, we know that the market, or rather the market, has been considered to address its problems on its own, but this is not the case. This has not been fruitful. We see the repercussions in our families, in our households, and we need the right supervision of those measures that should be implemented. Cartels, illicit trade, competition, unfair competition, distortions, all those things should be discussed and considered, because all those things lead to the repercussions we experience today. We say that natural gas prices drop, but the fact that this cost moves on and is transferred throughout the entire supply chain, just like moisture that eats up the walls of a building and at the end is going to collapse. If no immediate measures are not taken, I'm afraid that over the next 2 years we will be faced with high prices and, of course, too high energy costs for our units. Despite the crisis and despite the problems that we have been faced with, and despite the exacerbation of the energy crisis and the distortions I mentioned before regarding our national market, we are also being faced with a huge financing gap for those businesses. I'm talking about the agri-food sector businesses. Greek farmers don't have access to bank lending. We consider that there is a 10 to 14 billion euro gap. And therefore, an initiative is required, an initiative that cannot stem from the market. It should come from the state. The other aspect of this deficit has to do with the extremely high interest rates we see in that sector. They are higher than all the other European countries. They vary from 4 to 8%. All those things show that a critical sector of the Greek economy, because it is the backbone of our society, of our social cohesion, lacks funding, lacks access to bank lending. So we should be aware of all those things and adopt the right measures.